First of all, pardon me for the way I sound. I've been sick a little bit, but I wanted to explain that I feel a burden from God that I need to help people who are morbidly obese or obese to help lose weight because I'm morbidly obese and I want to help all of us, including myself. In 1 Corinthians 3:16, it says, "Do you not know that you are a temple of God and that the Holy Spirit of God dwells in you? Therefore, that tells us that our bodies are a temple of the living God and the Holy Spirit dwells in us if we are Christians. So we need to make sure we honor the bodies God has given us and treat them with respect, and that includes in the way that we eat." I know the path that I need to take to lose weight, but I've been having problems getting started, so I want to lay it out the easiest way, and this is honestly the cheapest way. This does not require pills. It does not require a subscription to losing weight places that try to help you lose weight or any apps or anything like that. This is just you being you and working at it. First of all, my recommendation is that you do not need to have much things to buy, but I'm going to suggest a couple of things because I've been through this before. I've lost a lot of weight and I've gotten skinny. I just gained it back because I was irresponsible with the way I got off of my diet, and I want to explain about that. First of all, let me tell you the best weight loss option. I really highly recommend listening through it all the way, but it's your choice, of course, if you click off. I do recommend that you go carnivore. The reason being is carnivore it reduces the inflammation in the body. I know a lot of doctors say meat is really bad for you. That's a false statement. There's a lot of doctors who are trained to think that way, but meat is actually the way that we survived as hunters and gatherers back in the day. Yes, we grew vegetables, but we also survived eating a lot of meat, and people survived for thousands and thousands of years just, catching game. So I don't view that eating meat is a bad thing. So the way that I feel is that it actually has helped me a lot. When I've been carnivore, my inflammation has gone down significantly. I've lost a lot of problems, including infections and rashes, and uh, my skin cleared up amazingly, looked brand new. I looked younger. I felt younger. I felt better than I ever had in my life. And I started looking amazing. I've always had problems with big thighs. My thighs were shrinking down significantly. Same with my abdomen. It was getting very, very flat. And even the natural fat and loose skin was tightening up. And I was looking really, really good. It's just the fact is when you're getting off the diet is the problem. So if you're going to get off a carnivore, you have to be very, very careful with what you do and how long you're off of it, and getting started right away so you don't mess up. Because the problem with being off of carnivore, people don't realize this, we have a sugar addiction in our country. uh, the sugar addiction is like a drug. They have stated that it acts like a drug to the brain, and they have done scans. I've heard that they check, and it does show that your body reacts with sugar like it does with a drug. It's addictive, and so when people have sugar, um, it wants to keep having that sugar. So it's kind of like if you're addicted to anything, you're going to have to go through a withdrawal period. So like when people have anything, like if you're an alcoholic and you're getting off alcohol, there's going to be an alcohol withdrawal. The same with sugar. If you've been on sugar for a while, there's going to be a sugar withdrawal. It takes, I've noticed for me, about 4 to 5 days for me not to be near as addicted to sugar. Like, because you're literally wanting it so bad that you're willing to dive into anything sugary. So you're going to have to be aware about that. If you're going to convert to carnivore, you're going to have a sugar withdrawal or carbohydrate withdrawal. So there's 3 methods that you can do, or actually there's really 4, but there's the extremely simple way, there's the easy way, medium way, and hard way. And I want to explain, first of all, a couple things before we get started. A couple recommendations. Um, when you're going to go carnivore, the kind of meat that I'm suggesting is you want to go as zero low carb as possible. That yes, you can have any meat in the store, but you should check the ingredient list. Make sure that the carbohydrates are zero or close to zero. You should be checking the ingredients as well to make sure that it doesn't have sugar, dextrose, maltodextrin, fructose. Of course, there won't be fructose in meat, but I'm just saying that you want to check for sugar and sugar substitutes and corn syrup and things like that. So, and you can look up other ones to look in the ingredient list as well. So the best way also is to look at the carbohydrates. Now, if it says less than one, sometimes you'll see less than one or one, look at the serving size, because if there's like, say, 12 or 15 servings per thing or whatever, if it says less than 12 and it's like 12 servings, you're having 12 grams of carbs. I would count that as one. And then if it says less than one, I would count that as one. And saying 12 servings, so 12 grams of carbs. So you would want to try to not have that. So be aware of the serving size as well, because you can quickly get the carbs in there, because things like sausage has sugar and sugar substitutes in it. So you got to watch it. Things that I would suggest eating for carnivore are eggs, ground beef. I would say you don't have to go lean. You can eat the fat that's cooked with the meat, like when it keeps it moist. You don't have to like drink it or anything, but I mean, like, it helps keep your meat moist when you make it fresh. So I do recommend having around 80-85% ground beef with salt. And I want to explain about salt in a minute. But also ground pork, make sure it has zero carbohydrates. Should be pure ground pork, not ground sausage. Eggs, like I said, I guess it doesn't matter what type of eggs, because a lot of them do feed their chickens uh, things that, like soy and things that are have carbs and things. So you don't have to go with extremely expensive organic eggs if you want. I guess go with flavor, go with what you like. If you can't afford much, just do, the cheapest that you can find and go from there. I also suggest you can have steaks. I know a lot of people like ribeye. I do not have a grill myself, so I'm not going to be grilling steaks. If you have a grill, that's wonderful, and you can cook ribeye and salt it, and try not to add any other flavorings or seasonings or sauces to it, just salt. And if you could get that fat layers to cook and fry up as you're cooking it, then great. But if you don't like that extra fat in there, you could just do New York strip. And lots of times I'll air fry a steak. I know that sounds crazy, but it's possible, and I can explain that. But you can have steak, but it's not necessary. Pork loin can also be cheaper. Just make sure that it has zero carbs. You can do chicken. Chicken is not my favorite. I also have a problem with non-organic chicken. It has a chemical taste to it. I personally buy Costco organic, and I'll buy like the packs of the chicken that's either skinless. You can do the thighs. There's also, if you want to have like a fried chicken without frying your chicken in oil, if you have an air fryer, this would work for you. You can buy the party packs at Costco that say like wing party pack. It's like a mix of like little drumsticks and little wings that have skin on them. What you do is you come home, rinse the bag, of course, and salt it up with salt. And like I said, I'll explain about the salt in a second. But you can put that in an air fryer in single layers, and you could air fry them and then flip them and air fry them again. And it crisps its own fat. And that is the oil that it's cooking it in, is its own fat from the skins. And, so it tastes really, really good. It tastes like fried chicken, but it's air fried chicken. You're not adding any extra oil or any sauces or anything except for salt, and it is amazing. So that is also recommended. I don't eat really fish. I sometimes will have shrimp, and I'll get the frozen shrimp and take off the tails and cook it in a little bit of butter. Butter is also fine, but butter is recommended if you want like some sort of flavoring. You can add butter on top of steak, or butter in like your ground beef. There's also like you can add egg yolks too as a fat. You can even pasteurize your own egg yolks by cooking them in a sous vide maker, or bringing them up to a certain temperature, and just try not to, get the whites cooked, and just keep it so it's like kind of cooks the egg yolk so it's pasteurized. You can use the yolk as a fat on top of things, and that adds a lot of flavor. Ham is difficult because there's a lot of hams with lots of carbs and sugars baked into it. So I think there's a type of ham you can buy. It's called Greenville ham, and I purchased it at Walmart. And it has very little carbs, and you can have that kind of ham. So, but I'd be very careful, and very careful with your sausage too. If you are going to buy sausage, then try to look it up. In my personal opinion, I will take ground pork, form them into patties, and cook it that way. And you can also have bacon, but you have to be careful in the ingredients list. I look for low sodium bacon because it has very little sugar. I know it says low sodium, but it also has very low sugar. So try to look for as low as you can. I like the Costco low sodium bacon packs. I think it's Kirkland brand. And that has very low carbs. So that's the bacon I use. Another tip is to save the bacon grease to use as a cooking fat. And if you want to make like a special sausage patty, you can cook up that bacon. And I don't make it where it's like shattering. You know, you can overcook bacon to where it's shattering. I will take bacon and get it to where it's almost crispy. And then chop it up into pieces. And then I'll put it in the raw pork, the ground pork, when I'm making sausage patties. Like, I don't add seasoning. So it's just basically a cooked ground pork patty. But I'll add bacon in there and, of course, salt. And I will cook that. And then it's like a sausage patty with bacon inside. So that makes it more luxurious. And there's other options, too, you can have for meat. But that's the majority of it. Now I want to talk about salt. So the problem with salt is a lot of the store ones that you see will have dextrose in the ingredients. Dextrose is a sugar substitute. It is not needed in salt, so I don't know why they have it. So I recommend going as pure salt as possible, so you are having as clean ingredients as possible. So I would go and buy Redmond's real salt. You can buy them on Amazon and also the refills on Amazon. Or you can buy them elsewhere. But there's not much other ingredients you need. So your standard meats, the salt, and butter. And so whatever meat. So you can choose as cheap as you want. If you can't afford anything besides like bologna or ham, you just go as clean as you can. That's the cheapest you can, but you don't have to go. If you can't afford much, just go with what you can afford. But just try not to have as sugar or sugar substitutes as little as you can. So the easy way, first thing is to, now this one does take a little bit of expense. If you're wanting the easiest way, that's the easiest way to transition to getting onto carnivore. This could be for everybody. You're going to have to get off of sugar. That's goal number one. So you have to transition and realize it's going to take 4 to 5 days for a carb withdrawal to happen. So you're going to have to transition over. Easiest way to do is make yourself treats that are sugar-free. They still have a lot of carbs. Remember that. So you're not going to lose a lot of weight right away, but you are going to get off of sugar, and that's the main goal. So you can look up ingredients and how to make, say, keto Take 5 bars or keto Snicker bars. Eat as much meat as you want, but those Take 5s or Snickers bar, you're going to have that to get off of sugar. And after about 5 days, you'll notice that your sugar cravings are gone. Now, then you're going to have to get off of carbs. So now what you're going to have to do is reduce your carbs. So you're going to have to try to go down and try to reduce your carbs. When you're first getting started and you've switched over to carnivore and these sweet treats, your carbs will be dropping, but you're going to try to keep your carb limit. I would try to do 20. I know that sounds like a lot, but you're trying to get as low as and get yourself losing weight. So you try to reduce your carbs as week 2 down to 20 a day. So you're going to have to figure out how many carbs are in your sweet treats, your Snickers or Take 5 bars, and lower it down to 20 a day. If possible, try to get it down to 10. Then, so week 1, work on that, and week 2, work on that. And then starting week 3, try to get off of carbs completely. Try to get down to 0 carbs. And if you have any carbs, it's from the meat alone. It's not from any sweet treats that you've made. So you're trying to get off of all sweet treats. So week 3, transition to just eating meat and just having that as your meals. And with meat, you don't have to restrict how much you want. It's going to be a transition. At first, you're going to be super hungry, but you're going to naturally start being less hungry. And so only eat when you're really authentically hungry. Since you'll be getting off of the carbs and the sugars, there will be a fake hunger that transitions at first where you're extremely hungry and you want to eat even though you're not technically hungry, and that's fine. Go ahead and eat your meat, but stop when you're full and you're not wanting it anymore. And then do that every day. Only eat when you're authentically hungry and stop, and you'll start losing weight. And then stay on this diet without cheating as long as possible. So that is the absolute easiest way to transition. Now for the easy way, which is the second way. First, you would just not make the treats. And this is financially the most feasible way, is you just don't make those treats. And you transition to lowering your carbs with what you got. Try not to buy anything else with carbs, and just lower your carbs week 1 down to, say, if you can, as low as you can. If you're starting off extremely high carbs, lower it down to, say, 50 carbs a day. Count it, keep track of it, and get down to 50. Week 2, get down to 20 or 10. And then week 3, try to eliminate the carbs altogether. You'll start having carb withdrawal after having no carbs for about 3 to 5 days. Just expect that and just push through it. It feels like the flu, but once you get through it, you'll be fine. Okay, so and that's the next one. The third one, which is the medium way. This is the medium way. You would try to go straight carnivore right away. So you would try to jump straight into eating just meats and no sugars, no carbs, no vegetables, nothing. And jump straight into carnivore. It's going to be tough. And like I said, the first 3 to 5 days, it's going to be rough. You're going to feel like you have the flu. You're going to have extreme carb withdrawal. You're going to just want to sleep and stay in bed. You're going to be cranky. You're going to want to dive into anything sugary. Just don't even think about the sweet treats. Don't go shopping. Don't go in stores. Just stay away from shopping for anything like that. Just stick to your meats and stick to it. Don't let anything stop you. And then once you get past those first 5 days or so, you'll feel so much better, and then you'll be officially on carnivore. Now this is great if you're really wanting to get started on carnivore. Now the most difficult way, number 4, this is the toughest one, but this is the most rewarding because it's going to help you lose weight the absolute fastest, and it's going to heal your body the fastest. And this is one of the hardest things to do. You're going to have to start by fasting. First of all, it's easy day 1, especially if you fasted before. Now, when I mean fasting, I mean water fasting. So you're going to have water, and if you want, you can have electrolyte packets with water, especially starting day 2. I think in the midday is important, or any other day. And element packets, or LMNT, I recommend is raw, unflavored, because you want to try to have no sugar substitutes. The other ones have, I think, stevia, and we don't know exactly a lot of information about stevia. So I would just be a little careful and not have any sugar substitutes. And this is the best way to heal. Like I said, you're going to go with raw, unflavored if you want to use electrolytes. Don't buy the ones in the store. They have sugar or sugar substitutes. So what you're going to do is you're going to start by fasting. Day 1, you're going to feel miserable because, well, first, day 1, you're going to feel bad because of the way you've been eating, the way you've been having so many carbs. So you are not going to want to eat exactly day 1, but in the afternoon, when you haven't eaten for a good 12 to 15 hours, your body's going to start craving food. You're going to have to ignore it and push through and drink a lot of water. And you don't have to have electrolytes at this point yet. So push through, drink a lot of water, and that's it. Next day, you are going to start craving food. So, and also you're going to start getting very, very fatigued and tired. That's when you're going to want to start having the electrolyte packets. I would try to have a full packet a day. I would put it in a separate glass of water and sip on it. Don't just chug it, because as you're using the bathroom so much, which is flushing out all that salt and water retention you've had from the carbs and the inflammation by eating unhealthily for so long, as you're flushing out, you need to replenish your electrolytes. But if you drink it all at once, it's all going to flush out. So sip it throughout the day, and just drink a ton of water. Ignore the food. Ignore it. If you can, try to make it through day 3. The reason this is so important is because of your body starts to go into autophagy after 36 hours of fasting. And that is when your body actually takes your cells and repairs them and renews them and regenerates them. It's a miraculous healing process that God himself invented. So I highly recommend it. So try to get to day 3 and fast. Try to get through. If you can push through, and just drink a lot of water. Have your raw unflavored electrolytes, but nothing else, and just push through, and it's going to help repair your body. If you feel up to it, keep fasting. But if you're feeling miserable and you're feeling like you can't make it anymore, and you can stop this after day 1 of fasting. If you have to stop and after day 1, you need to eat on day 2 or day 3 or day 4, whatever day you want to start eating, go ahead and start. If it was me, I would start with a broth. I would start with, say, you want to buy a broth. I would say preferably a low sodium broth. And you can buy Great Value if you want some cheap broth, but make sure it has no carbs in it. I know sometimes they have vegetables in there, but just go as low carb as you can and just have broth for that day, that first day, because you're getting off of the fast. You need to get off well. So get off by having broth that first day. Day 2, if you feel like having broth, have broth. If not, then you can move on to your next step. Have eggs that are boiled eggs with your salt, or you can have, if you want over easy eggs or fried eggs with butter, that's fine too. But you can also have ground beef with salt. And but I would, if you're wanting to do the best way, I do day 1 have a broth when you're eating. Day 2 have eggs. Day 3 have ground beef with salt. And then day 4 you can start the normal carnivore diet, however, with steaks or ground beef or shrimp, or the chicken, whatever you want, but just have the meat until you're full and then stop. This is going to get your body into a healing mode, and it's going to help reduce a ton of inflammation, help you drop weight extremely fast. You're going to feel really good. It's going to feel like you have the flu at first because the carb withdrawal, after the 5 days, you're going to start feeling better. And then your body has to eventually switch over to fat burning mode. It's going to take a while, but your body's going to start taking the fat from your body and your skin and start sucking it up and using that for energy. So eat until you're full, but stop. You don't have to have 3 meals a day. You can notice that as I was doing carnivore, at first I would have 2 or 3 meals a day. Then I didn't get really hungry. So then when I did get hungry, I had like maybe 2 meals a day. Then I got to the point where I was barely hungry and I was having 1 meal a day. And then I was full and I was fine. So eat only until you're full and then stop. And don't feel like, oh, this is going to cost me a lot of money. Because at first, maybe when you're transitioning and you got all those hunger pains and the carbs, they're causing you to want to eat. You're going to want to eat more meat. But once you get off of that, off the sugars and the carbs, you're going to actually consume less meat than you think. And also, I want to warn you about traveling. If you're going to travel somewhere, you need to be careful what you eat, because a lot of places still fry their meats. They'll still use the same grill that they fried something else on. So I recommend you're going to either boil yourself some eggs, bring it in a cooler and add salt on top and eat cold eggs. Or you can buy something like chomp bars. I know you've seen chomp bars. They're very low carbs. I think they might have 0 carbs. And just eat those. And then if you're going places, don't think about the food. Think about the activity. Think about living. And just let your body heal itself. And stay on the carnivore diet the best you can. And just stick to it as long as you can. Now, if you are going to get off of the carnivore diet, I would recommend to have like a carb blocker that's going to help, get rid of when you first are going to have sweets. So let's just say you're going to get off for a birthday, right? I would recommend having something like some pills. Now, this is the only pills I do recommend if you are going to have sweets and you're just getting off carnivore. You're going to have an extreme sugar crash. So I would buy you can buy a berberine, you can buy white kidney beans, and there's, oh gosh, what's the chromium? It's called chromium picolinate. So when you're going to have it, you would have a chromium picolinate pill. And then you would have 2 white kidney pills and then 1 berberine pill before you eat. And then you can have what you want that day. And just be prepared. You're going to have to run to the bathroom. You're going to have, lots of stomach pain. Prepare for it. But my suggestion is after that first day, get right back on it. Don't let, oh, I missed out on this, I missed out on that flavor, I missed out on that flavor, get you down and make you go back to eating carbs on a regular basis. Because I lost a lot of weight. I was on carnivore for, I think it was 2 months. And then I got off of it and I couldn't get back on because I kept wanting certain foods that I missed out on. I'm like, oh, I haven't had this in so long. Instead of looking at the weight loss situation saying, oh, I've lost so much weight, I want to stick with it, I let the thought of food and the carb addiction take over. And I've been off for 2 months and I have gained so much weight. So my recommendation is if you are going to get off for a birthday or a special holiday, get off that one day and be careful. Don't binge eat. Just eat what you want in small quantities. Remember, within a couple of bites, you've already satisfied that craving, so you don't need to keep eating multiple bites and just shoving food down. Eat what sounds good and then stop. And then the next day, get started again and just jump right back into it. Because I notice once I get through 2 days of eating off plan and I'm, eating sweets and things, the carb addiction has taken over and I'm helpless and I'm off of it for more months than I can count. And then you gain it all back. So it's how you get off is the most important thing. So just remember that.